So you're considering couples therapy, but you're wondering whether or not it actually works? Perhaps you wonder if it's necessary because as an adult, you should just know what to do to handle relational conflict, right? Or maybe you've had a negative experience in the past with other healthcare professionals or clinicians in the field of therapy. Or maybe you just think that a stranger can't necessarily speak over your life and just know how to support you. In this video, I will discuss 3 key factors for successful couples therapy. Stay tuned. Hey there, my name is Chantel Caraway. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I want to welcome you to the Couples Club, a space where I like to share education, skills, and tips for couples who are in long-term committed relationships. Consider these scenarios. 1, you and your partner are interested in getting married, and you want to attend therapy for some premarital resources and skills. Or you and your partner come from 2 different backgrounds, and you find yourselves getting stuck again and again on the same topics that come up because you just see it differently, or you approach it completely different. Or maybe you've been in a relationship for a while and you felt a lot of emotional disconnection and you don't even know where to start to rebuild that sense of connection. Couples therapy can be a great resource for a variety of needs. It's literally a space where couples show up to intentionally focus on their relationship. However, I do want to share 3 key factors that can impact your success in couples therapy. The first factor is willingness. Your willingness to not only attend therapy, but to also be open to the process and even participate. It's pretty much like the saying goes, what you put in, you get out. So just showing up isn't enough to determine if it's going to be successful. You have to be open to the experience, open to the process, and also participate in the times that you do show up. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to show up and spill every intimate detail about your life in day 1. If you're not familiar with therapy or how it goes, I can understand if you show up and maybe you're a little hesitant about what is it going to look like? How am I going to feel? What all is required of me? But therapy, I want to slow you down there. Therapy doesn't mean that as soon as you show up, you're expected to share every intimate detail about your life in the very first session. It's about pacing yourself. It's about being true to who you are, but also being open to the dynamic as the time unfolds. Consider advocating for yourself in the space as well. Showing up and being engaged is important, but also using that time the way you like. Is there a topic that you're interested in? Is there something that you want to circle back to that came up maybe briefly before? Now's your time to do so. Share that with your therapist. You have just as much say in that space as your therapist. The second factor, consistency. Just like any other skill, the more you show up, the more you continue to participate and stay engaged, the better the results. Now, I want to be clear here as well. Showing up consistently doesn't mean that you are in therapy forever. It really just depends on the case. It depends on what you're there for. Some clients may find it beneficial to just have a therapist throughout their life, regardless of what's happening, just because they feel like it's great to have a sounding board, somewhere they know they can check in, they can have that support regardless of what's going on. Others may look for therapy for more of a short term or a brief period. Maybe they're focusing on something specific and they want to have that person there, that third party to help the couple get over the relationship challenges. Or maybe there's a certain stressor that's coming up in your life and you know that you and your partner are having a hard time. So you want that third person there to kind of help facilitate that dialogue, kind of get in the middle and help you get through it differently. Personally, I find one of the best compliments is when I get fired by a client. That's after they've put in the work and they feel confident and comfortable in managing a lot of their life stressors on their own. They need me less and less, and they feel like they have the skills that they need to kind of navigate as different things come up. Consistency looks like getting into a rhythm for how often you show up to therapy. Are you interested in a weekly? Are you interested in a monthly? Are you interested in a every other week? But also, how on track are you in that time? Some people can find it very helpful, couples even, to come in and talk about kind of what happened from week to week. Some couples may find it beneficial to talk about things that have been plaguing them for some time. Some find it a bit of a mixed bag, where they talk about things kind of happening chronologically in their life, but they're also talking about things that were really hard that they struggled to navigate in the past, and they want to have this space to do it differently. It really just depends on how you want to use that time, but consistency is key. Now, the third and final factor here for success in couples therapy is the client-therapist relationship. This relationship is so important because, first and foremost, therapist's responsibility is to create that safe space for you to share all the vulnerable details about your life. At the end of the day, you want to feel like you have good vibes between the therapist that you're working with, because you are going to be creating a relationship with them as well. So it's not just about the relationship with your partner when you show up and you're trying to navigate that space. It's also between the couple and the therapist. And ultimately, how that therapist responds to you as you share the different challenges and details of your lives as a couple pretty much gives you feedback, like any other relationship you have. If it's safe to go there again, emotionally, that is, or if maybe it doesn't feel so comfortable here, or maybe I don't feel so safe in sharing these parts of my life because I feel judged, or I don't feel like my therapist is open to understanding me. While some couples may feel hesitant about a stranger or unknown person knowing these personal details about their lives, I find it to be one of the best benefits of going to couples therapy, because now you have a third party who's neutral, because your therapist is not going to know you from the next couple down the street. They don't have a dog in this fight. So it's easier to have a third party who isn't on either partner's side as they come in and talk about the issues that they want to address. Also, for you, you might be able to determine a lot quicker if your therapist is able to hold that space or ride the middle to be able to hold space for each partner, or if they are getting one-sided with one person. Sometimes you might be able to tell that too. Do you feel like your therapist is open to hearing what you say over your partner? Do you feel like they're siding with one person over the other? Do you feel like they are personally involved and maybe how they're responding doesn't sound like someone who's neutral? Not having personal ties to your therapist can reduce the chance of bias that they may have in favor of one partner over the other. It doesn't mean, however, that it's impossible. It just makes it a little easier. So on your side, it's also important for you to pay attention to how your therapist responds when you're in that space doing your couples work. Do they seem like they favor one partner over the other? Do they make sure that both partners have a say? Do they try to hear each person's side when you bring up specific issues? Or does it feel like their mind is already made up before they're also open to hearing each person's perspective? Personally, I tell my clients every time that I see them that I am not on Team Janet's side, for example, versus Team Doug's side, for example. It would instead be Team Janet and Doug. The client is the couple. The client is that space in between you, that relationship dynamic. So that's what you want to look for whenever you are interested in trying couples therapy. So there you have it. That was our 3 key factors needed for a successful couples therapy: willingness, consistency, and the client-therapist relationship. A willingness to show up, participate, be engaged, and be open to the experience. Consistency and how often you show up, because like any other skill, it builds over time the more engaged you are throughout the process. And then finally, the client-therapist relationship. It is absolutely your right to advocate for yourself in that space, to get your needs met, and to talk about things that you like to have addressed from session to session. On the flip side, it's also your right and your freedom to find someone else if you think they may be a better fit for you. Couples therapy can be very beneficial because, again, it provides a space that is neutral and allows each partner to come in and share their experiences and express their needs and share their goals for how they want the relationship to change over time. It is also your space to advocate for yourself. If you feel like your therapist is a good fit and you want to maybe talk about certain things in each session, you can bring that up with them. Or if you feel like you are interested in finding another therapist or trying someone else out, that is absolutely your right to do so. Check out my next video here. Thanks for watching.